Annette, out in theaters and on Amazon Prime, new film directed by Leos Carax, starring Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and Simon Helberg. It's technically a musical, and all the songs were written by the band Sparks, and apparently the whole thing did start as just a concept album from them until Carax met them several years back while working on his previous movie and convinced them to work together to make it into a feature film instead. The result is very weird and unconventional, as I would have expected based on Holy Motors, the other Carax film that I saw, but not as weird as that one, and I also think not as good. The story centers around the relationship between Adam Driver's Henry, a successful comedian and stand-up artist, and Marion Cotillard's Anne, an equally successful opera singer. The two of them fall in love, get married, have a kid, the titular Annette. She's played by a mechanical puppet, which everybody just seems to pretend to acknowledge as a real human being, and then things start getting even weirder. So it's a difficult movie to read because I found it hard to discern how much of it is trying to parody an indie art house film and how much of it is actually trying to be one, a serious art house movie. The world and the characters created by Carax here are very off, which leads to these difficulties. Now, I think this will be a divisive movie overall. Some people will absolutely love it, and others will absolutely hate it. I find myself closer to the second camp, unfortunately, and here's why. First of all, I'm not a big fan of abstract movies in general. I'm a simple man in this regard, and I prefer my stories to be at least somewhat readable. I think this is not, and I can see two possibilities to explain what happens. Either the metaphor about a parent's relationship with their child and how they can view it as just a puppet and exploit it for their own gain and live their life through the child's success. Either that's the central theme of the film, in which case the metaphor is extremely obvious, to the point that I thought of it as if you asked an 8-year-old kid to come up with an example of a metaphor. They can probably do that if they know what a metaphor is, but it's not going to be subtle, okay? And that's what happens here. Option 2 is that the movie is about something else entirely underneath all of this, in which case I have no idea what it's supposed to be about. I can't read it and it frustrates me. Either way, I am unhappy with its general shape because it doesn't hit that sweet spot of satisfaction. Either it's too simple or it's so complicated that I don't know what it is about. I was also not a fan of the songs. Musically speaking, they're catchy, and there are a few of them that I did actually enjoy. Most notably the intro song and then the conductor sequence, which is possibly one of the best scenes in the film. Not just because of the music, but also because of Helberg's acting and the camera work. But on the whole, regarding the songs, the lyrics just didn't land for me. They, much like the child metaphor, seem very heavy-handed. Like there's literally a song early on where Driver and Cotillard just sing, "We love each other very much," repeatedly. Those exact words. This is like the lyrics to the song. Really? I mean, is this supposed to be some sort of art house commentary on musicals, or are we supposed to take this on face value seriously? Again, I don't know. I'm also not convinced by the characterization. Driver's Henry is clearly supposed to be, he's supposed to be a comedian, and I guess he must have some sort of inherent charm and charisma in order to be successful and to win over Anne. And I think we were expected to see him as a charismatic, fun guy, at least at the beginning of the film. But right from the get-go, he seems depressed and rude and just unpleasant to be around. And to be fair, I think it's the script and direction, because Driver himself gives a solid performance, very physical at times. His mannerisms while on stage, doing his act, are spot on. Apparently he worked with real comedians like Bill Burr and Chris Rock to get that persona right. But, this one somewhat good performance at the center of the film just isn't enough for me in this scenario. I found it frustrating mainly because of what I said before. It's difficult for me to interpret, and it's not even like it's just so extremely bizarre and abstract. I have seen weirder movies which clicked for me, and this one just doesn't, plain and simple.